homeward bound. Getting away, it wasn't any better, just different and lonely. Lonelier than the wind, emptier than the sky, more silent than the dust piled in drifts between me and my father. August 1935. Met. My father is waiting at the station, and I call him Daddy for the first time since Ma died, and we walk home together, talking. I tell him about getting out of the dust and how I can't get it out of something that's inside me. I tell him he is like the sod and I am like the wheat. And I can't grow everywhere, but I can grow here with a little rain, with a little care, and with a little luck. And I tell him how scared I am about those spots on his skin, and I see he's scared too. I can't be my own mother, I tell him, and I can't be my own father. If you're both going to leave me, well, what am I supposed to do? So she's scared he's going to die like her mom did. And when I tell Daddy so, he promises to call Doc Rice. He says the pond is done. We can swim in it once it fills. And he'll stock it with fish too, catfish, that I can go out and catch of an evening and fry up. He says I can even plant flowers if I want. As we walk together side by side in the swirl of dust, I am forgiving him. Step by step for the pail of kerosene. As we walk together side by side in the soul-deep dust, I am forgiving him for all the rest. August 1935. Can you see a character change in Billie Joe? I want you to think about her character traits from the beginning of the story till right now. And for bonus points, I want you to make a list of what she was as a character and how she has changed throughout the story, and email that to me. Email me or Hangout. All right, now we're in autumn of 1935. Cut it deep. I went in with Daddy to see Doc Rice. Doc says, "Why'd you wait so long to show someone those spots, Bayard?" I scowled at Daddy. He looked at the wall. I think he didn't care much. If he had some cancer and took and died, figured he'd see Ma then. He'd see my brother. It'd be out of his hands. He'd be out of the dust. Now he's going to wear bandages where Doc cut the cancer out the best he could, and we have to wait and hope Daddy didn't get help too late. I asked Doc about my hands. What, I say, can I do with them? Doc looks carefully at the mottled skin. The stretched and striped and crackled skin. Quit picking at them, he says. Rub some ointment in them before you go to bed, he says. And use them, Billie Joe, he says. They'll heal up fine if you just use them. Daddy sits on my bed and I open the boxes. The 2 boxes that have been in my closet for years now. The dust is over everything, but I blow it off. And Daddy is so quiet when he sees some of the things. They're still so strong of Ma. And we end up keeping everything but a palmful of broken doll dishes. I thought once to go through these boxes with Ma, but Daddy is sitting on the edge of my bed. My mouth feels cottony. I fix dinner, and Daddy tells me about when he was a boy. He says, I wasn't always sure about the wheat, about the land, about life in the panhandle. I dreamed of running off too, though I never did. I didn't have half your sauce, Billie Joe, he says. What do you think he means by half your sauce? Think about that. And it's the first time I ever knew there was so much to the 2 of us, so much more than our red hair and our long legs and the way we rub our eyes when we're tired. October 1935. The other woman. Her name is Louise. She stayed by Daddy the days I was away. The first time I met her, she came to dinner bringing 2 baskets of food. She's a good cook, without showing off. She has a way of making my father do things. When Louise came to dinner, Daddy got up and cleaned the kitchen, and when we were done eating. He tied an apron around his middle, and he looked silly as a cow stuck in a hole. But Louise ignored that, and I took a lesson from her. We walked around the farm, even though she'd probably already seen it while I was gone. She didn't ask to be taken to my favorite places. The loft and the barn, the banks of the Beaver, the field where you can see Black Mesa on a clear day. She told me she knew Daddy and I had a history before her, and she wished she'd been there for the whole thing, but she wasn't, and there wasn't anything to do but get over it and get on. We both stared in wonder at the pond my daddy made, and she said, a hole like that says a lot about a man. I didn't intend to, but I liked her, because she was so plain and so honest, and because she made Daddy laugh, and me too, just like that. And even though I didn't know if there was room for her in me, I could see there was room for her and Daddy. When I asked him if he wanted me to go off to Aunt Ellis after all, Daddy said he had never wanted it. He said I was his own, and he didn't like to think about what Aunt Ellis might do with me. And we laughed, picturing me and Aunt Ellis together. And it wasn't a nice laugh, but it was Aunt Ellis we were talking about after all. The thing about Louise, I'll just have to watch how things go and hope. She doesn't crowd me out of Daddy's life, not now, when I'm just finding... Sorry, hang on, I messed up. I'll just have to watch how things go and hope she doesn't crowd me out of Daddy's life. Not now, when I'm just finding my way back into it. October 1935. So do you think things are kind of starting to look up for Billy Joe? I think so. Okay. Not everywhere. I walk with Daddy up the slope and look out over the Beaver River. Louise is back at the house. She wanted to come, but this is Ma's place. Ma's grave. Franklin's too. And Louise has no business here. She wants to come everywhere with us. Well, I won't let her. Not everywhere. Daddy says she could have come. There's room enough for everyone, Billy Joe. But there's not. She can come into Ma's kitchen. She can hang around the barn. She can sit beside Daddy when he drives the truck. But Ma's bones are in this hill. Ma's and Franklin's. And their bones wouldn't like it if Louise came walking up here between us. October 1935. So she's not giving in completely, huh? All right. We'll start tomorrow on the next one.